Hello and welcome back. Today we will be performing the module 4 knowledge check of AWS Cloud Security Foundational modules. So let us begin the module 4 knowledge check. Our first question is a three-tier web application environment is a modular client server architecture. What are the three tiers? So in options I have data, application and internet, and next is I have presentation, AWS and data, application, data and security, or presentation, application and data. So for the three tier client server architecture model for AWS to follow, it mostly follows on presentation, application and data. So let me just submit it. Yep, the three tiers are presentation, application and data. Moving on to the next question. What is the difference between a security group and network access control list? A security group acts as a firewall to control traffic in and out of one or more subnets. A network ACL acts as a firewall for EC2 instances. A security group makes networks more efficient. A network ACL distributes incoming application traffic and scales resources to meet traffic demands. A security group is a load balancing service for AWS deployments. A network ACL acts as a firewall to control traffic in and out of one or more subnets. A security group acts as a virtual firewall for instances. A network ACL acts as a firewall to control traffic in and out of one or more subnets. So acts as a I think it is a security group acts as a virtual firewall for EC2 instances, and a network ACL acts as a as a firewall to control net traffic in and out of one or more subnets. Let's see. Yes, that is true. Next question. What is the purpose of an internet gateway? So we have to select two options, like whether they provide a target within a route table to enable internet route table traffic, control where network traffic is directed, perform network address translation for instances that have been assigned public IPv4 addresses, provision a logically isolated section of the AWS cloud where you can launch resources in a virtual network, control the routing for all subnets. I think it is provide a target within a route table to enable internet route table traffic, and I think the internet gateway's purpose is to perform network address translation for instances that have been assigned public IPv4 addresses. Let's see. Yes, that is correct. So now moving on to the next question. Okay, which statements are true for a virtual private cloud? We have to select three options here. Is a logically isolated section of the AWS cloud where you can launch AWS resources in a virtual network, belongs to multiple AWS regions and only one availability zone, provides the ability to customize your network including creating a public subnet for your web servers that can access the public internet, uses network access control list ACLs as the only layer of security, gives you control over your virtual networking resources including selecting the IP address range, creating the subnets and configuring route tables and internet gateways, acts as a firewall to control traffic in and out of one or more subnets. I think first is logically isolated, like we implemented in the lab task, like it is logically isolated of the AWS cloud and we can launch the resources via the virtual network like we did it in the previous video and second of all is I think it provides the ability to customize your network including creating a public subnet for your web servers that can access the public internet. Yeah, definitely this is also like public subnet was also we implemented in the lab task, like this one is also correct, true, and gives you control over your virtual networking resources including selecting the IP address range, creating subnets and configuring route tables and network gateways. Yes, the CIDR range also lies in the VPCs. That is also correct, I think so. Let's see, let's check. Yes, it is true and correct. So now on to the next question. Security groups are stateful and network access control list ACLs are stateless. What is the difference between stateful and stateless? Stateful means that return traffic must be explicitly allowed by rules. Stateless means that return traffic is automatically allowed. Stateful means that return traffic must be explicitly allowed by rules. Stateless means that return traffic is never allowed. Stateful means that return traffic is automatically allowed. Stateless means that return traffic must be explicitly allowed by the rules. Stateful means that that return traffic is never allowed. Stateless means that return traffic must be explicitly allowed by the rules. So stateful means that return traffic is automatically allowed, and stateless means that return traffic is automatically allowed. No, this none is not. Stateful means that traffic is automatically allowed and it must be explicit by the rules. Yes, it is explicitly allowed by the rules. Yeah, stateless. Let's check. Yes, that is correct. What are the best practices to protect your network? So, place Amazon EC. We have to select two. So, like we have to select from these options two, which should be correct. Like place Amazon EC2 instances in private subnets when they will not regularly need direct access to the internet. Create all subnets in the same availability zones. Use security groups to control access to resources. Set up AWS organizations and enable high availability to increase the security state. So I think it is place the Amazon EC2 in the private subnets like we implemented in the lab task, like it was like the private subnets to protect your network from any unauthorized access, and we can use security groups to control access to our resources. Yes, that is correct. Which service provides an automated security assessment that helps users to improve the security and compliance of applications that they deploy on AWS? Amazon Guard Duty, Amazon Inspector, Elastic Load Balancing, AWS Identity and Access Management. I think it is Amazon Inspector, which helps. Yes, that is correct. So, a company wants to create a multi-tier website. What is the best practice for creating a load balancer and a subnet architecture? So we can place options are the place the web server and database in a public subnet and the load balancer in a public subnet. No. Place the web server and database in a private subnet. Have users directly access the web server in the private subnet without using a load balancer. Place the web server and database in a private subnet and the load balancer in a public subnet. Place the web server in a public subnet and the database in a private subnet. Have users directly access the web server in the public subnet without using a load balancer. I think the load balancer is required for this, like the users will have to use the load balancer in a public subnet because we don't want any web server or database credentials to be leaked out. So it should be better to be kept in a private subnet. So now moving on to the next question. What is not a best practice to protect compute resources? Enable VPC flow logs down to the subnet level. Use Amazon machine images to create compliant instances. Scan for vulnerabilities and patch them. Automate configuration management and protection. I think enable VPC flow logs down to the subnet level is like not a best practice to protect our computing resources. Because the reason is because if we enable VPC flow logs down to the subnet level, so it can be accessed by public users. Which service can help users to automate management tasks such as collecting system inventory, applying operating system patches, maintaining up to date antivirus definitions, and configuring operating systems and applications at scale? The options are elastic load balancing, Amazon simple notification service, Amazon Web Services configurations, or Amazon Web Server Systems Manager. I think Systems Manager, like, we can use for management tasks like collecting the system inventory, applying operating system patches, and maintaining up-to-date antiviruses. Because System Manager composes of all these logs and details of it, of the systems which are deployed on the AWS server side. Let's check. Okay, this is correct. So we have scored 100 marks out of these. So now in the next module we will perform. So now in the upcoming modules we will perform the lab of module 5 along with the module 5 knowledge check. So wish you all the best and happy learning. Like and subscribe the video, and do share it with your peers. Thank you.